Morning guys, Paul here from Island Life. Today's topic is going to be about the pros and cons about living in Portugal. As you know, I've been living here in Portugal for about a year or so, just a little bit over a year, and I live in different parts of the country. Having said that, without any further delay, let's get this video on the way. So one of the cons about living in Portugal, it's actually the price of energy. The price of energy is something I talked about on this channel before, and there's something that I can't stress enough, how expensive it is, electricity in Portugal. About living in Portugal is the cost of alcohol. What I mean by that is, I don't want to promote drinking, obviously not, but I drink a glass of wine every meal. I drink a glass of wine. And I find the prices of wine here it's very, very economical. Like in Canada, for a bottle of wine, you would pay literally 14, 15 bucks, which is dollars, $14, $15. And here, that same bottle will cost you probably 2-3 euros, which is, for me, I'm a wine drinker. I don't mind having a glass of wine at dinner or lunch. So, I enjoy going to the wine store, and diversity is incredible. You have all kinds of wines here. Quality of wine, it's outstanding here. Actually, it's one of the most underrated wines in the world, the Portuguese wine, I would say. So if you like to go out, socialize, and go with friends, sit at the bar and have a beer, it'll cost you about €1 each beer, which socializing becomes very easily if you live in Portugal. So that's definitely one of the biggest pros for Portugal is the cost of drinks here is a fraction what we would pay in Canada. Another pro about living in Portugal is the diversity of things to do. So Portugal is a very small country. You can cross it in a day and by car, and you can be by the ocean. You can go to a village. You can go see historical castles, cities. It's amazing what you can do in just an hour drive away or so. So the diversity of things to do in Portugal is it's one of the biggest pros for anyone living in Portugal. Another con about living in Portugal is the cost of traveling. When I say the cost of traveling, either is by airplane or is in your own car. If you travel from one end of the country to the other, it's going to be quite costly. So, because you have the gas, which is extremely expensive. Portugal is one of the highest prices in gas for you to put in your car, and also it has toll routes. So the toll routes are very expensive in Portugal. When I say very expensive, I'll say this: I've been several times from Toronto to New York City, and maybe I spend, I don't know, $45 or so one way on the toll routes getting from Toronto to New York. Give or take, this a few years ago, but give or take, that's what was the cost. But if you translate that to the cost of hourly rate, so you're looking at 1 hour, 1.5 hour rate for a Canadian, that'll be the cost to travel. It's 8-10 hours on a car. So if you're in Canada, US, the cost of traveling in the toll road freeway for 8-10 hours, you're looking at an hour of work to 1.5 hours. Let's call it 2 hours, make it even. To go to Lisbon and back will cost you maybe 50 euros or so. But if you compare that to the Portuguese salary, so the Portuguese, that makes 700-800 euros per month, and to make one trip to Lisbon is going to take basically 10% of their salary. Guess what they're going to do? Just not go. Is the ability to get fresh food on a daily basis. So this is something that's quite common. Most people, they have their own garden. They are all mostly organic. Not only the veggies, but also the meat and the fish. All these things are very fresh on a daily basis. So you can literally go on a daily basis to the markets and get the stuff as fresh. It's just picked up in the same day. So That's a big pro. If you want to live a healthy lifestyle, definitely it's something to consider. So kudos for Portugal for having that. They have also what's called these markets. Yeah, so basically every city has these markets where you go in the morning, and you have all the farmers and the fishermen coming and bringing their goods in, and you can go and buy it very fresh. So this is all over Portugal. So definitely one of the biggest pros for whoever lives here and wants to experience that quality of life. One of the cons of living in Portugal, I'll say this is the biggest con of them all, is bureaucracy. Bureaucracy in Portugal is in a different level. Like if you are coming from North America, I say North America because that's where I lived. I know things are done pretty straightforward in Canada and US, Australia, England. Those are the countries that I know of. That things are done pretty straightforward. Talking about common services. Here, however, where do I start with this? It kind of goes around circle. Give an example of what I'm talking about. I needed a particular service, and I thought it would be a little bit too complicated for me. I didn't understand it when I started reading it in the internet. So I consulted a firm of lawyers. So my lawyer tried to contact this particular service. They get no hold of it. After 1 week, my lawyer says, sorry, Jan, there's not much I can do because I got no reply. So I asked for the address of this particular service. So I went there, got in line. The demeanor of the person attending you is something that would not be accepted in Canada, I can tell you that. And I asked, I need to do this particular service, and the person simply pointed to the door. And I look at the door, it was stated there on the door, for me to go in for service, I need to book an appointment, and there was a phone number. So I thanked them, thank you very much. I took a picture of the email address and the phone number that was on the door, came home, I called that phone number, nobody attended. I sent them an email. 3 days later, it says, you cannot book an appointment via this email. So I'm thinking, okay, so I find out what is the main head office here in the biggest city. Which was in Faro. So I took a day to go to Faro, got there, get in. Somebody saw me, and I asked them if I needed to do this particular service. So the person there says, in order to do the service, you need to book an appointment. But I'll schedule you. I'm thinking, okay, good. So I provided documents they requested. So they said they're going to schedule me. They'll send me a schedule to email, something, at least something. So I came home. A week later, I received an email saying there's no availability. So first office I went to, they didn't want to attend you. You need to call the number on the door or that email to book an appointment. I tried that. They replied, you cannot book an appointment by using that email. The phone number, nobody answers. I went to the head office. As I get there, they said, they will book an appointment for me. Basically, they replied, there's no availability. And this is the typical bureaucracy in Portugal. This was never fixed. It's been like this since 1970s, and I don't think it was going to be fixed anytime soon. If you are that kind of person that you want service to be done correctly and straightforward, Portugal is not for you. You need to have extremely high level of patience to live in Portugal to go through these things. One of the biggest pros about living in Portugal, it is the extremely laid-back lifestyle. Yes, there's things here that bureaucracy kind of slows you down if you come from a fast-paced country. But in the other hand, if you come into Portugal to live a laid-back lifestyle, trust me, you'll definitely find it here. Things are done here at very slower paced, and you just have to have a lot of patience to get things done over here. But at the same time, the laid-back lifestyle, it kind of slows you down. You release all the stress. You enjoy the simple things of life. You can go out more often. You can go socialize more often. You take more time to do the things that really matter in life. So, the laid-back lifestyle in Portugal, it's definitely one of the biggest pros of living on this country. Another pro of living in Portugal is safety. So You feel safe no matter where you go in the country. You know, you can go to a big city, you can go to a small place, you can go to a remote village. You always feel safe. So the crime rate is very low. Nobody's allowed to carry guns unless you're a law enforcement officer. And basically, no matter where you go, you feel safe. I mean, I'm not saying that things don't happen here. Here they do, mostly in big cities. Obviously, you need to use caution when you are in big cities, but still one of the most safest countries in the world. I think Portugal in 2022 is ranked number 4. So last year was ranked number 3, so this year is ranked number 4. So safety is paramount for most people. For me particularly, that I left Canada and I went to live in the Philippines. Philippines is a beautiful country. Is paradise basically, but safety there is a concern. So coming from Philippines to Portugal, you notice that automatically. So safety here is paramount. Another pro for Portugal is the healthcare system. So the healthcare system here is pretty straightforward. Everybody has healthcare, and you also have private hospitals. If you're coming here to live under one of the visas that Portugal offers, you have a choice of buying healthcare, which is very inexpensive compared to Canada or USA. So the price that you would pay for the healthcare system here is peanuts compared to most countries, to be honest. And actually, the quality of the healthcare is really high standards. So there you have it, guys. Those were the pros and cons about living in Portugal. Obviously, I've been living here for 1 year only. The prices that I talk about is based on my own prices, what I pay for. Security is very safe. This is a very safe country. It's a beautiful country from one end to the next. Weather is extremely good. Beautiful beaches. The coastline is stunning. It has a nice historical cities, castles, villages. There's so much to see in Portugal. I'm just starting. I'm barely scratching the surface. So far, I'm pretty happy with the decision that I made to move to Portugal. And if you're one of those persons who are considering to retire, perhaps, and you're looking for a safe place with a good healthcare system, good weather, Portugal is priority. Should be priority in your list. So I would definitely consider Portugal for anybody who wants to retire. So there you go, guys. Those were the pros and cons about living in Portugal. If you like the content, hit the thumbs up and ring the bell. And have yourself